Blick Tenley, a few Cloud9's fans there, so I'm sure they're happy about that win. Now, on to our Twitter question of the day. First, we're going to share what one fan says about how he watches the LCS. Here's @DeadAimer, who's enjoying the action in Vegas. Remember, Summoners, the games that happen in Vegas stay in Vegas. And, of course, now turning to our Twitter question of the day, we wanted to know what has been the best roster addition to the NALCS this season and why. And a healthy number of fans are feeling pumped for Piglet.
I am too. He's still a very good player. 2 games is not a terrible season make. I think we're going to see him do really well here. That's all I can say, right? Like we talked about it in the very beginning. He's still a great player. 2 bad games, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely not enough has been shown to make any firm judgments. No. Others were hyping the LCS's band of brothers. @BBoys says, best addition to the NALCS would have to be Avalon. First brother-brother team combo. #Synergy inbound for WinterFox.
That just has a whole bunch of implications, like brothers playing on the same team. You know, what type of brothers, what type of relationship do they have in the first place? Are they, fighting with each other? Are they struggling to see who's better? What's it going to be? Right. It sounds like both those guys work really well.
Yeah, it seems to, from what they've evidenced in the first couple games.
If your brother played with you, would he listen to your shot calls?
Yes, he would, because I was the dominant older brother. I beat him at everything.
Yeah, I say mine would because he knows I'm better at the game.
Okay.
I feel like that's the easy way to settle
My
it,
sister
right?
was insolent. She
or maybe just whoever the coach decides is the shot caller. Yeah. And then, of course, a ton of tweets came in singing the praises of Santorin. And that takes us into our next match, Team Dignitas versus Team Solo Mid. TSM are tied for first place and look to be as dominant as ever.
Yeah, I mean, Santorin has proven himself to be a huge asset for the team. We already mentioned that 92% kill participation. He's really taken up the mantle of that team-oriented jungler that they lost when they lost the odd one. And, on a team where you've got people like Bjergsen and Wild Turtle, you have plenty of people ready to make plays and plenty of people going to build full damage. You need, that supportive role there.
Yeah, I agree. And, of course, that has been really good for TSM. But, of course, we also saw in their game against Team Liquid that TSM are very good at adapting. When faced with a fast push, they responded. They sent Wild Turtle to the bot lane. These guys have been very sharp strategically, TSM overall. They managed to, actually outpush Nunu Janna Kate. I don't know how that exists in League of Legends, but TSM did it. So all I can do is give them props and say, dude, these guys are clearly more than the Bjergsen show. And they're in first place for a reason.
That was a really good example, actually, of Turtle, because they said that it was his call. He got to lane and he saw them, and he was like, nope, I'm going to go top. We're going to try and shove just as fast.
And, of course, on the flip side, earlier this week, there was a big shakeup when Crumbs, the captain of Dignitas, announced he would be stepping down and taking over would be Cloud9. I mean,
yeah. Also, a lot of questions were raised when he released his video of why he left, of, there are 2 different visions for how to play League, him and the team. They had dissenting opinions. Now that Dignitas have been able to pick up a jungler, through tryouts, they handpick somebody who has the same vision, so they're all going to play the game the same way now, and this may be their first step on their road back to recovery.
Yeah, and again, I do think it is going to be a long road. I said so about 2.5 hours ago at the beginning of the show, where it's like, look, Dig are going to take some time to go back up, but that said, they're happy about him, actually. I ran into my Elixia about 30 minutes ago, and I said, so how's your new jungler working out? He's like, actually, great. We're feeling really good. We have a lot more options, he said. And I said, well, who's shot calling? Like, the new guy. Like, you have a new guy who's never played in top-tier competitive calling for an LCS team, and it's like, well, it's up to you to build the game up, make these guys good again. So Cloud9 pressure's on him.
Yeah, so there's a lot of pressure on this guy. Not only is he a new guy coming into the team, but shot caller sounds similar to Rush, and Rush, took a few games to step into that role.
Sure.
But the thing is, Dignitas have a history of starting off new players with winning records. Like Golden Glue comes in, they win a bunch of games. They actually have a pretty good record as far as picking up new subs.
They picked up the Coast guys, Shifter and Zion, crushed there.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be the level of unpredictability that a first-time LCS shot caller is going to bring, I have to imagine, if they're going to come out with a win here.
You remember the Kiwi Kid quote from last year or the year before, where it's like, if we don't even know what we're doing, how can our opponents predict us either?
Exactly. Yeah, that's very true. I do remember that very specifically. So we'll have to see if they're just throwing curveballs the rest of the day. Well, to get us into the game, let's toss it over to Riv and Jat.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Let's get right into it with a look at our starting lineups. On the blue side, it's Team Dignitas. That's Gamsu in the top lane, Cloud9 in the jungle, Shifter in mid, Core JJ at AD carry, and the kiwiest of kids at support.
Yeah, and the red side, of course, is Team Solo mid. Darius in the top lane, Santorin with that great kill participation in the jungle, Bjergsen in mid lane, Wild Turtle on AD carry, and Lustboy on support.
Santorin pointing and giving smiles out to the crowd. TSM being pleasers. So that's who will be hitting the Rift. But according to Dyrus, their starting lineup are only part of what goes into their success.
That rule change just made our team like 2, 3, 4 times better. Instead of adapting on our own on stage, Locodoco takes all the burden, and it's like having a 6th member on the team. Especially since Locodoco is such a, extremely talented coach, in my opinion. We have other analysts to help him, and sometimes Reggie butts in and is like, Loco, why did you do this? This is really dumb. And that kind of puts a wake-up call in the third point of view, because even though Reggie's not really, coaching, he says things that are really simple and on point, and even though he doesn't play anymore, he really, really understands the game more than a lot of other people. So with that combined with Loco and our analysts, it's like having a whole nother team to help us.
So what we're saying is we can blame Locodoco.
Yeah, if anything goes wrong in Champion Select, it's all Loco's fault. But that's what they've said in the past, is Loco is willing to take the blame for this. And I talked to Loco a lot last split, and there were multiple times where he would be super nervous in Champion Select, just hoping that they followed his plan or what he wanted them to do or how he wanted them to react. And now he is the one reacting.
He is. Well, we've seen Team Solo Mid in the past have a bit of mix-up with, having to swap lanes just to get the picks right. May have happened.
It's actually true. Historically, TSM has had more pick-and-ban problems than pretty much any other team.
Nobody else has switched a position to get the pick-and-ban way to go.
Yeah.
But
actually, Reginald's a top laner.
That plays mid. It's going to trick you. It's the mind games. We'll see what happens as we get into Champion Select here, and I do need to correct myself. It was Gamsu on Caston that built the Ceres, not Avalon. So, wrong name there. We'll see what they actually have for each other going into picks and bans. It is going to be Team Dignitas here on the blue side to start. So the first pick could really mean a lot in this game. We've seen a lot of kind of out there first picks today. Teams just knowing what they want.
And I do have to expand on what Kobe said about this Dignitas team, with Crumbs wanting to play the game a different way than the rest of the Dignitas team did.
Right.
Also, Cloud & Win is still in trials. This is a continuation of his tryout in the LCS environment. Not much more Dignitas could do when a player steps down so abruptly. But I've seen this situation happen across many different games where if a team loses a player or gets rid of a player that they did not trust, a lot of times that distrust was bringing everybody down. So if they get Cloud & Win in and they're suddenly on the same page, everyone else will just start playing better, even if that player's worse than the previous guy. Because it's a confidence change, it's a mindset shift, and they're huge underdogs with no expectations anymore. So there's a lot of room for Dignitas to perform in this game.
Yeah, put it all out on the field. Why not? Obviously, getting your jungler is not going to tell the other team too much. We already have Jarvan banned out here. May see Santorin. Actually, I'm going to say pick up the Lee Sin. But what will they decide? Bjergsen is the one, obviously, that'll round out with on the purple side. So we'll probably leave him for last. I would imagine Dyrus and Lustboy grabbing something here, if not a jungler, but that's already on the board.
And now we have to wonder if Santorin's been practicing any jungle Nidalee himself. It saw some dominating play in the European LCS.
You have to have a dark side
to play jungle Nidalee. Yeah, well, Santorin seems very adaptive to what Bjergsen needs. And jungle Nidalee's not the type of jungler who will be able to babysit a mid lane very well, or at least have his back for his aggressive plays. So you'd think not. You'd think Nidalee wouldn't be highly prioritized here from TSM.
Yeah. Well, that's what we kind of see Santorin doing, is helping the team out. Almost criticized for it, because that's just the way he fell into the team with everybody playing so strong in those solo lanes. But yeah, he has quite kill participation for Team Solo Mid, despite what he's on.
Let's be fair. He plays Jarvan, puts a flag down, get all the assists.
Gets the assists. Why not? Always got to be fair. But the Morgana, Sivir have been locked in for Team Solo Mid. They're taking their time.
And Morgana here for TSM is a sneakily good pick against Rek'Sai. You wouldn't really think of it that way, but so one thing, when Rek'Sai is tunneling, he's not immune to crowd control, so he can come out of the tunnel and be bound if you hit him with that. Additionally, he relies on the knock-up in order to actually get auto attacks off. If you black shield the person that he's even near when he's underground, he becomes ridiculously kiteable. But this is actually cool. That's a top lane Rek'Sai.
That is a top lane Rek'Sai. We're going to see Gamsu taking that and bringing something new here for us into the LCS in North America. We'll have to see if he can really put up numbers. Like we said, they can go for broke on this one, right? Nothing they're really trying to prove here. They're trying to get the new team together. We'll see what they can get on the Rift with this composition. Could be a Callista for Wild Turtle that actually went through the ban phase without being touched.
Unless Dignitas thought that Santorin was going to pick away Vi, they're really losing the mind game there of having a Rek'Sai. Nobody has played Rek'Sai top lane in the NALCS, and everybody plays him jungle, so TSM would have been picking around that. Now they know they're picking into a top lane Rek'Sai, which just makes things worlds easier for TSM. Surprising that Dignitas held off so heavily on a support pick to reveal their jungler.
Cyrus goes for another Maokai here. Shifter has been doing well on Azir, something that gets banned out quite a bit against Dignitas. And maybe actually be the Cassiopeia deciding what to do. I'm interested to see what Dyrus has for his top lane matchup. Obviously playing Maokai, but has he played against the Rek'Sai? Is it going to take him by surprise? A lot of things to look at in this matchup here as we round out the rest of the picks and bans. Corki's been finding a lot of play. I don't think we'll see another 80 carry, though. I think we're going to get a mid laner out of this.
Is he going mid? Shifter has been practicing.
That's so true. Yeah. You're actually right. Oh, man. The Azir is just too powerful, along with that long range of Corki. So they are going to lock those in. And we'll see Kiwi Kid with them actually banning out the Annie here in fear of Lustboy picking that up. He goes for Thresh. And will he do it?
Well, Bjergsen did have a 46 kill solo queue game on LeBlanc.
48.
48?
Yeah.
I lost count at some point.
There were a lot. I actually didn't finish it. I was like, it's just going to start getting crazy from here. He could do it, though.
Anything really on the board. Xerath is a relatively popular pick against that, but it does look like with the Sivir Maokai, TSM is going to want to be able to hard engage people. It would work pretty well, though, Maokai holding people down for the Xerath ultimates, or Twisted Fate combo that. There's a lot of option here for Bjergsen in this last pick.
I wouldn't doubt the TF could be the one. His play style is much like when he first approached the North American LCS. Very high in making plays, brings a little solo QS back to his LCS stage game. But it's going to be the Xerath lock-in after all, even with that hover on being talked about to the team. So they stay safe on this as well. We've seen some great Xerath plays across the board in any region. So this is going to be a tough matchup for Shifter in the mid lane.
And I've always liked Bjergsen Xerath in games that he doesn't necessarily have to hard carry himself. He's so good at that champion, especially in the laning phase. It'll be a fun matchup between Shifter's Azir and Bjergsen Xerath here. More so, it's just look at the Dignitas communication there. Cloud9 saying a lot here to the rest of the team. I really wonder how they're going to respond to this, or how nervous he actually is. Dyrus was joking with him in the team lobby, said, trying to help him out a little. Don't forget your masteries.
Don't forget those.
Cloud9 said thank you. I checked. He has 3 mastery pages already pre-made. Most pro players actually only have 1 mastery page because they like to make it live every time they lock in a champion. But yeah, Cloud9 should have masteries.
He should. And he should be able to play this one strong. We actually saw him talking with Gamsu there as the coaches head off the stage. He was pointing up. They were pointing up. So maybe we'll get a little Cloud9 to the top lane and helping out Gamsu there on the top Rek'Sai. Well, the teams load in. Tweet who you think will come out ahead by sending hashtag DIGWin or hashtag TSMWin to @LOL Esports. And we'll check in shortly to see how the fan vote stands. And I'm excited to see how this top lane works out all game. Because Dignitas, we were wondering, you know, are they going to come out this week very strong? We don't know that yet, but we know they're already bringing flavor to the table.
Yeah, this is one of those over 90% fan votes online as well for TSM.
Right.
Heavily favored in this match. Very low expectations on Dignitas. And TSM, obviously starting the season 3-1 with some impressive victories last week over WinterFox and Team Liquid. On paper, this should be a very one-sided game for TSM.
And their one game they lost against Team 8, it was perfect shockwaves. It's not something you can get away from, so it's kind of like winning the lottery there to have them get hit by every one of those that game to lose out. So I don't think they're going to let that happen again. As we see a little bit of back and forth in the mid lane, we'll expect to see quite a bit of that. As the teams pan out, we did see a little bit of rotation, all of the members here hanging out in the brush for Team Solo Mid down in the mid.
We'll get you guys the news on why we're paused as shortly as possible. Does look like Cloud9 has a slight issue.
I forgot my masteries.
Not true. I want to check,
Not
actually.
true.
I want to check.
Oh, yeah, you can actually see in character screen.
Oh, no, the pause screen covers it up.
Foiled.
Yeah. Actually, what had happened is Cloud9's minimap was on the wrong side of the screen. Now, that is a toggleable option, but they are allowing him to fix it, obviously.
Yeah.
Just got to switch it over, and then we should be able to get back in the game.
Man, what game would do that? JK. So we're not even that far into this one. It's only really been mid that's seen each other so far. So both teams are still probably going to stick to that initial strategy.
The defensive board strategy? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, just in general, still pushing in. I don't think they're going to back out here or be kind of deterred of the pause.
Oh, yeah.
They should still keep going. So now chatting with the team as they are back to live. And we're going to get this game going. So nothing too big. Nobody going to walk into a bush that has a whole team in it. But Dignitas is going to be the other side. So it looks like they'll do the same thing. Mirror each other at least to start here.
Ooh. So there was a ping that
Besides that,
went down on a TSM. Does seem like everyone will be A-okay. Although Core JJ put himself in a pretty scary situation. Yep, just lane swap scouting wards here. One thing you'd want to do against a player in his first LCS game, jungling decision-making becomes pretty complex when you're in a lane swap. So if I were TSM, I'd actually want to lane swap these guys. And it's something TSM has been wanting to work on as well. After their Week 1 game against Cloud9, even though TSM won that match, they thought their lane swapping was really bad. And they've been working on it ever since. Oh, nice little damage there by Core JJ.
a lot of people have been using that brush to get some extra damage on. We've actually seen in the LCK that teams will walk down and put a lane brush ward in to stop that from happening.
Well, you kind of need to, because that's the spot where AD carries need to go to freeze the lane in the first place.
Yeah, true.
So it's really dangerous, actually, to go up and tank those minions if there could be enemies there.
Saw it even last game as well. So help to the junglers to start this one off on both sides. That means they're going to be jungling laterally instead of around their own. Dyrus to teleport to the top lane, and we get to see how this plays out. Gamsu will only have a few CS lead, so it shouldn't give him an upper hand in levels too much as Dyrus approaches with level 2.
Exactly. I mean, he's Maokai. He got to do a camp early on in the game. Gamsu tried to shove the lane, so he's level 2 at around the same time. This could be interesting. There is a flash.
Well, they were pointing to the top lane pre-game. I don't know if he'll blow flash here. I think he's just going to try to do what he can. He's going to save it. That'd be the smart